Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley. I'm a third-year neuroscience student working with Dr. William Porter and Dr. Ann Cheney in the indoor air pollution in the Coachella Valley. So, most of you may know the Coachella Valley through the Music and Arts Festival, right? Tons of people come, and then tons of people kind of go back to where they came from. And then same thing with the Lithium Valley. So recently there's been lithium that's actually been found in the water of Coachella Valley. So there's been a lot of corporations and companies trying to come and take advantage of that lithium that was found in their water. So, and a lot of, the residents in Coachella Valley don't really like this, but, corporations and companies will still come and go. So as you can see, Coachella Valley is definitely a place where lots of people come and go, but very few stay. Now, Coachella Valley, for those of you who don't know, is about an hour away. You can see UC Riverside right about here, up on the upper left, and Coachella Valley on the bottom right. And our area of interest for this research is right here, right below the Coachella Valley, right next to the Salton Sea. And it is a very arid and dusty desert area. This picture on the left right here is actually a picture of the desert dunes in Coachella Valley. And in addition, it is also a region of disparities and vulnerabilities. These graphs that you're looking at right now are graphs that was actually made by a graduate student that is also working with Dr. Porter in our research lab. Her name is Yaning Miao, and she looked into poverty, health insurance coverage, Latino and Hispanic, just to name a few. And you can see that the concentration of poverty is actually very high right next to the Salton Sea. Same thing with those who have no health insurance coverage, and the same thing with Hispanic and Latino. So you can see that it's very alarming how similar these graphs actually look to each other. In addition to that, we can see that the concentration of PM 2.5 is actually very high in that same region. PM stands for particulate matter, 2.5 stands for how big that particulate matter is. So in this case, PM 2.5 is 2.5 microns of particulates that are in the air. And the reason why they're so dangerous is because the smaller the particulates are, the deeper they can be found in the body. So PM can be found in the mouth, nose, throat, and go as far as your blood system or your heart or your lungs. And you can see that the high concentration is still in the same region as the one that you see with high poverty rate, those with no health insurance coverage, and those with who are Hispanic or Latino. So in this case, for this research, we're looking at specific homes. So instead of looking at a broad sense, we chose 16 homes that are right next to the Salton Sea in the Coachella Valley. And the only prerequisite that we had these families meet was that at least one child in the family has to have asthma or a respiratory issue, and obviously live right next to the Salton Sea. So just to give you all an idea of how big these particulates are, a fine grain of sand is 90 microns large. A human hair is 50 to 70 microns large. And what we're looking at here in our research is PM10, PM2.5, and PM1. So PM10 and PM2.5, PM1, very small, right? Much smaller than a human hair, very easy to breathe in and very easy to be found in the system, in the human system. So these particulates do have different sources depending on where you're looking from, right? So indoor particulates, these PM 2.5, PM 10, PM 1, ironically, cleaning, right? Mold and cooking. If you're looking at outdoor particulates, their sources most likely come from things like garbage dumps, construction sites, and anthropogenic activity. Anthropogenic meaning coming from humans, right? So traffic or any kind of bringing up of dust. So our data collection process, what we do is Oh, sorry, I skipped a slide. Our objective and hypothesis. So our objective is to basically analyze patterns in drivers and the correlation between indoor air particulates to outdoor air particulates and how they impact systems of asthma and respiratory issues. The reason why this research is so important and so interesting is because there is also a qualitative part to it. And that involves actually listening to the stories of these 16 families and what they had to go through on a daily basis because of the unhealthy air quality that they have to go through. You know, I feel like this is very cutting edge research. And in many ways, you don't get the story of the people that are involved. And in this research you do, which is absolutely amazing. Our hypothesis is that there is a correlation between indoor air particulates to outdoor, and there is also a correlation between bad air quality and the aggravation of asthma or respiratory symptoms. So the way that we're collecting data for the qualitative part is through putting these sensors called modular PM into the houses of these participants. We put these sensors in a place in the house that is very far away from the windows and very far away from the walls, but also a place where a lot of the family spends time. So this happened to be the living room or the kitchen area. For the qualitative part, we asked the families for a specific weekend to take a picture of what their daily lives look like, and so that we can later interview them and ask them what each picture represents. The weekend that we asked the families to take pictures, there was actually a fire that occurred, which served as an awesome opportunity for us to look at how the fire impacted their air quality before, during, and after. So so the fire occurred on March 25th to the 26th, and you can see that there's a huge spike in PM 2.5 during that day, but before you can see that PM 2.5 is much lower. And then after the fire event occurred, the PM 2.5 goes back down. Here we can see the before, during, and after the fire. You can see that these particulates in PM 10, PM 2.5, and PM 1 rose very drastically during that fire event. So for the Photovoice interviews, for these interviews, we did ask the participant 3 questions. We asked them, how would you relate the pictures that they took to living by the Salton Sea, to choose 3 pictures that reflect the child's health during the season, and to choose 3 pictures that show how they take care of their child when they experience symptoms of asthma relating to asthma or respiratory issues. So a lot of what the parents thought was that when there is worse air quality or more wind-blown dust events, the child's symptoms become more aggravated. Here on the left, you can see this was actually a picture taken by one of the participants that lived right next to the fire. And this is kind of how bad it got. And this picture to the right of that is a picture that was taken down the street from where that fire was. This picture here is actually not even during the fire. It's taken from a highway. So this is how bad you can see that we kind of pick up the dust, right? And here on the right is just another example of how easy it is to aggravate this air quality. So during this time, a lot of the children that were in these families did experience nosebleeds, runny noses, skin rashes. Here, nosebleeds, skin rash right by the side, skin rash by the hairline, and puffy eyes. And in response to these symptoms, a lot of the parents asked their children not to go outside and to stay indoors, which is actually very interesting because which is actually an interesting reason why we need to look into indoor and outdoor air quality to see how these children can react when they're put inside to indoors. And they also have to go through extreme measures to find medicine, right? So here on the bottom, you can see all these kids taking their medicine or going through home remedies. A lot of them have to take the albuterol, but the reason why families have to go through extreme measures to find medicine is because a lot of the parents are finding that their medicine isn't as effective as they wish it would be for their kids. So what a lot of these families end up having to do is go to Mexico, where they find medicine that works better than the medicine that's prescribed by their doctor. So our next steps are to analyze, find new ways to analyze data, continue analyzing, if there's any patterns or seasonal trends, and to interview the participants again during the summer. And special shout out to the promotoras from the Coachella Valley, especially Conchita Posar, Dr. Cheney and her research group, and Dr. Porter and the Porter Group. Thank you.
Hey, well done. Thank you, Ashley.